coppers. You see them up here sometimes now. I think they're at least making an effort. They're not walking around out here. Crazy. But they do cruise through sometimes. And honestly, I don't see like a lot of like crime up here. I see a lot of sketchy individuals, especially when it gets darker, more so than ever before. But I don't ever see like any crime going down. I mean, there's definitely more stuff going on, just not I don't see it up here that much. There'll be occasionally somebody will be freaking out, and if I think they're a demon, I go over there and I go right to them. But yeah, it's been kind of chill up here. I want to get a friend of mine based Commodore made a video recently talking about magic and gray magic and white magic and stuff, and I wanted to just kind of I want to talk about that because it's kind of nebulous as to what I do. I say I'm not a practitioner in the sense that I don't adhere to any sort of school. I do take things from different stuff and I kind of make my own thing. There's some kind of practices I do that are probably a bit more on the extreme side, but it's not black magic. I don't use anything I think that might be black magic, harming anyone, or self-enriching. I stay away from all that shit just because it's a slippery slope, and the slippery slope is 100% real. That's settled science. We know that's true. So I think that that could go for almost anything, you know. So I try to be careful about what it is that I do and what I use. Most of the stuff that traditionally would be a part of magic schools or magic use, intention, thought forms, those things can be done with just your own energy. You as a 5D energy being have the ability to do a lot of the stuff that magicians would have to do a lot of blood sacrifice in order to do, because they're not divine beings, right? There's a small percentage of us here, unfortunately, that do have a connection to God and do have divinity. One day I was talking about how a good way to spot them is someone that's an artist. Artists usually have that creative impulse. It doesn't matter. It could be anyone. It could be like a hip-hop guy or a gay interior decorator. Yeah, he's doing, stuff against the Bible, but if he's using that creative impulse, he's got it somewhere. He could probably be saved, But not gonna be by me. I'm not the. I don't have that thing going. I mean, I said that earlier today. Like, if you think you can help somebody, and you think they can be helped, yeah, help them out. But some people are just gonna, drown you with them. So it's the speed of figuring out what kind of a situation you're in is what's gonna help you the most, and that's really it. I feel so alone out here. There's another guy like me. Not a guy like me. You'll see that he loves anymore. But so the thing with the magic thing is, like I said, I try to not adhere to any certain school, and most of the stuff I kind of do or try to work up is based on just my own energy. Divine energy. You are not your body at all. You are, in a sense, broadcasting to your body, the largest part of you, which would be in the gut area, and that's why it's a lot smarter than your brain. I used the exercise before. Like, you'll be walking across traffic, you'll see a car coming towards you. Your gut is telling you get the fuck out of the way, but your brain's like, no, he's gonna see me. He's gonna see me, and then you get run over. Your gut is smarter than your brain. Your brain mainly is just, it runs the mechanical aspects of the suit, It can keep some memory, like a cache of memory, like sort of like a computer would. And a lot of people are always like, well, you can't remember before you were born. Yeah, because the body, right, has those limiters in it. Like if you have if you're driving a truck for a company, delivery truck or something, they have something on the gas which is called a governor, which keeps you from going over a certain speed, so you don't get tickets and shit. In the same way, these suits, the human bodysuit, is full of these governors and limiters that when you're in them, they keep you from being able to use, remember, anything that you could normally do is stunted and limited. In that sense, they are very much like a cage, you know. Body's a cage, man. But profundity. But yeah, so I do things that borrow, I guess, from other traditions. But if it's anything that I think is black, even gray, like a Commodore was talking about gray magic, I don't even I try to stay out of that too. Anywhere there is a chance that it could hurt someone in some way, you don't want to be involved in that. And to that end, most of the stuff that I do, that I practice, healing, shielding, defense, doesn't mean you have no offense. Healing, you can use on yourself just for, healing, can also be used against like demonic entities, because healing to them is like a weapon against them. And indeed, I always imagine someday when the possibility exists, we'll have to do this on a regular basis, all of us who can. That's going to be your offense, is healing, because healing a situation is the way you defeat it. A minor example that I've used recently was, this woman in my neighborhood was always very mean to me. For whatever reason, I get railed up, whatever. And I started saying hi to her all the time and just smiling, saying hi. Eventually she came around. And now we see each other and we smile, we say hi, how are you, good day. That's how you beat that shit. You don't work up some kind of spell that gets her fucking hit by a bus or something. You do that. You heal the situation. That's not a notoriously bad example. Actually, it's not bad. But yeah, as far as kind of use your own discretion. A lot of these practices have been around forever, and you kind of have to use your own discretion. I pick and choose stuff, but I try to remain on, like even the term white magic, to say I practice white magic. I don't know. I had a big discussion the other night with some people about what God would think about using even white magic. And the Bible says the Bible says is against sorcery. Okay, that's kind of a different thing. It's really a different thing. And a lot of times, like when you hear people say, like, well, Christians will tell you like that you're not supposed to practice anything. And if it's coming from that book, you kind of have to think, or at least I do, like, are they just saying this so that you don't use this stuff because they just don't want you using them to get an advantage? And I know there's that thing, like, that noble thing where, I'm going to learn this stuff to try to help God. And I go, God doesn't need your help, So there's a lot of back and forth on that whole thing. But it's never said explicitly where you shouldn't use anything, or you couldn't use anything, except outside of sorcery, and necromancy and stuff like that. Like, that's not stuff I would use anyway. Anything like that, anything, you kind of know. If you have a spark of divinity, and you understand some of this stuff, you kind of know, using your own discretion, what you should be able to use and what you shouldn't be able to use, and what you can practice and what you can't practice. I mean, that's what I think anyway. It's kind of obvious to me and to others, as long as you're not hurting anyone. from what I've found, God's a lot more chill than people say. You know, he knows how you are. If you know him, and you know Jesus, he knows what you're like, and he knows your intention. You know, you don't have to keep things so neat and defined as you would with another mortal. Like usually, like if it's a, you know, a boss or a school teacher or someone, you want to kind of make your intentions known. Like, oh, I meant to do that. He doesn't need any of that. He knows where you are. He knows where you're coming from. And yeah, so I would say to anyone who's dabbling in that kind of thing, just use your own discretion. You know, use your own discretion, and don't get stuck into one method. Certainly, there's nothing in like the Crowley school. There's nothing there. He's a straight up Satan worshiper. You know, I mean, there's everything. A lot of what he does, a lot of his stuff is based on blood sacrifice, because they need that kind of energy to work up the kind of stuff they're doing. And with black magic, it seems like, to me anyway, as an outside observer, it feels like most of the stuff you're doing is protection stuff for yourself. You know, I've described it once as, you know, you want to take down a house, right? So you bring a caged Tasmanian devil there, and you open the door, and the intent is for him to destroy the house, but then you have to be careful that he doesn't come back and and destroy you too. You know what I mean? So you kind of, how you doing, man? You kind of have to build, spend a lot of time doing protection stuff for yourself, so that it doesn't come back and hurt you. That's a lot of black magic, is that stuff. A lot of black magic is setting the area to protect you before you start doing your stuff. At least that's what I've observed over the years. So yeah, this is a war, right? You do whatever you think you have to do within reason, as long as you're not hurting anyone else, to fight, man. And that's really it. And I'm not trying to do that as a nothing's bad, nothing's good. I'm not trying to do that like your regular occultist thing where they do that. That is not true. There are objectively bad things. There are objectively good things. As long as you have the maturity to kind of determine what is what, you'll be okay. You'll know when you're doing, I think you'll know if you're doing something beyond what you should be. Hopefully we all can determine that. Don't blame the teacher or blame the school.